I have a physical copy of this book and I started reading it, but I'm not going to finish it and I'm not going to do a review of it, and here's why. Always, when a sequel comes out, I almost always 99.95% of the time read the first book first, but I haven't had a chance to read the first book first because I read the first book last year when they were doing like some kind of a summer event and you could read the first book online, but only for one day, and I powered through it and I was like, spent the whole day just reading Powerless. And I gave it 3.5 stars because it was kind of predictable, but it was still enjoyable. But that was a whole year ago. And by all rights, to be fair to this book, I should read the first book first. But I'm not going to read the first book first because I just don't have a copy of it. And I'm not going to buy it. And I just don't really want to. And I've seen a lot of reviews already about this book talking about how it's like filler book kind of a thing. And it seems like it's giving, this really should have been a duology. Like the next book should have been this book, but they signed it for a trilogy and it's just kind of taking up space. Sometimes you don't have to write a trilogy. Sometimes you can just get away with a duology. So it's got 2 strikes against it. And I feel like it would be unfair for me to read and review this book when I haven't given it the right kind of steps that I would take, like I would do with the first book. I would reread the first book. So I was going to just get a copy of the first book and reread that and then read this. But then I was like, the next book comes out in April. That seems silly. So I'm not going to be reading this and I'm not going to be rereading Powerless. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the third book to show up next year in April. And then I'm just going to read the whole trilogy and then I'll do my review. So, stay tuned for that, basically, is where we're at.